We've been spending months training a choral AI model on voices from throughout the UK. I'm Matt Dryhurst.
I'm Holly Herndon, and we're artists who've been working together for over 16 years. We're really inspired by medieval music, Renaissance music, and hymns. The concept of the show is to really take the visitor through the full process of the making of a machine learning model, how we work with AI, how we think about it as a kind of collective achievement, and then how to allow the visitors to experience that in a physical space through the creation of objects and through the creation of a unique soundtrack.
People are quite intimidated about AI. There's a lot of hysteria around this new technology. And what I hope that this show allows for people to do is get closer to the metal, to understand the whole process of training AI models and maybe develop some curiosity about how each of these stages can actually be very creative.
One hymn tradition that I'm particularly drawn to is Sacred Harp. A lot of these tunes originated in England and then traveled through New England and then to the American South, where I grew up. And wherever they landed, they would intermingle with the various musical traditions of the local diaspora and kind of become their own aesthetic. So we used those as a kind of rough guideline to create a rule set. And so we made hundreds of hymns in that style, and then we pulled out our favorites, rearranged them to our taste, and then we compiled that into a songbook, sent that out to the choirs, and most importantly, we wrote in aspects to the songs themselves where the choirs could improvise or make the music their own. Yeah. At the top of it, just
The songbook is composed specifically as training music. So, for example, all of the phonemes of the English language are covered within the songbook, and there's a really wide vocal range.
So, we're going to breathe together, right? And try and start a new vowel together.
For the choir, there was 8 core singers, 2 per vocal part, and they were singing in a circle together, which is reminiscent of Sacred Harp. In the center of the room, we set up an ambisonic microphone. This was so we could collect the sound of the space as well as the people singing.
We've been arguing for some time that the production of an AI model itself is a kind of artwork. It's an artistic medium. We're not just going around the UK recording a bunch of choirs and having their voices contribute to the model that we as artists are putting together. We're also trying to come up with mechanisms for those individuals and groups to collectively own their data and have some say in what happens to it going forward.
So one of the reasons why creatives and data contributors have so little agency in today's AI economy is because all rights are individuated. So, we hold rights as individuals rather than as collectives. This puts us at a disadvantage when we're dealing with larger actors such as AI developers. So the model that we came up with in the context of this project was to collectivize the individual rights that choristers hold, so their GDPR data rights and their IP rights in the project, and to mandate to sort of give the right to use these rights to a trusted intermediary, which is Serpentine in our case, on the terms that the choristers are happy with.
When it comes to data governance, it's very political. It's about how does a group of people make decisions together over a shared resource. In a way, this was an experiment, if you will, to see what are the things we can do, what are the new things we can put into place that can allow data contributors and data subjects to have more of a voice and to take more action in the entire AI production pipeline.
Together with Jen, the choristers made decisions about how they would be credited, whether or not the data set would be open to the public, and other terms under which people can use the data. Yes, there's ideas about how that coordination system also works through data with AI, But fundamentally, when you come into the show, what you're connecting to is the polyphony of choral voices.
The hearth behind me is kind of the heart of the show. It is an instrument that puts out a call using over 120 GPU fans that are tuned to be able to perform music. There's also an AI model encased in brass there. In the other room, there's an object called the wheel. And so when you go and interact with the wheel, you'll hear every single training performance enacted as if you were in the room. The third space, the oratory, is a more experimental model that we created that allows you to sing through the voices of the 15 choirs that we recorded for the dataset.
I think the spiritual undertones from this show come from this searching for new rituals around these new technologies.
AI models want to be interacted with. They want to be experienced. They don't just want to be looked at. They want to be prompted. They want to be sung at. They want to be sung with. We can put together a model, but when you interact with it, in essence, we're both creating the output. Once you produce a model like this, it can keep producing work in the kind of shape or sound of whatever you've trained it on. We want to explore the full range of interactive possibilities with a model and not shy away from that.